All right. Well, it is 11, and if there's one thing you should know about Gina Bridges is that she likes to start on time, and when it's time to end, she likes to end on time. And I do not want to keep any of you longer than you need to be kept because I know you all have busy lives. My name, again, is Gina Bridges. I'm the program coordinator and IT coordinator for Lifequest. With us today, we also have Donna Elke, and she is our administrative assistant. Beginning next week, we will have a staff of 3. The other person on our staff is Leah Greenfield, and next week she will be our interim executive director. So it will be a staff of 3 that leads you through this winter term. First thing I want to say is congratulations. You got here, you found the link, you opened up the orientation video. So you're halfway on getting to classes already. This is being recorded and it will be available later. So don't worry if some of this goes over your head or if you don't understand it. You can watch the video again later and look for the part that you need, or you can call the office and we'll try to walk you through what we can. So what else are you doing here today? The other things we're going to review are just a few Lifequest basics, Zoom and online class general tips. How do you get to class? How do you find materials? How do you navigate Zoom? How do you navigate Facebook? It's a lot of information. So some general tips for you right now is that online classes can take a little bit more energy than other things. If you just are used to surfing the internet on your iPad, you probably get a long battery life out of your iPad. But if you're Zooming, you might want to keep your iPad plugged in. If you have a desktop computer, you don't have to worry about it. If you have a laptop or a cell phone that you attend class with, again, you might want to keep those plugged in. Another thing to remember about Zoom is that it wants you to have the best experience that is uncluttered. And so it hides the menu automatically. So a lot of times if you don't see a button that you think you might need, you'll either need to touch your screen or move your mouse. And that will open up a little menu either from the bottom or the top, depending on what kind of device you're using. If you are attending classes and you're in a house with other people, you might find it less distracting if you go off by yourself to do class, although we have had people attend class from Starbucks. So if you are so inclined and you want to get out and go to your doctor's office and watch us, feel free. I would recommend earphones so that you're not disturbing other people with you. But if you want to attend class from wherever on your vacation, you go ahead, we'll be here. If you are sitting somewhere and there's a bright light behind you, that makes it a little more difficult for us to see you. And the instructors really enjoy getting to see your face, especially during discussion time and question and answering time, because, you know, we're all kind of separating and quarantining ourselves again and isolating ourselves again. And for some people, this may be the only other interaction they get with people throughout the day. We do have a lot of people who live alone or don't see their family and friends that often, and we want to be able to see you. So, okay. The first thing we're going to review is how to unmute yourself. So if you are on Zoom, or we're all on Zoom, if you move your mouse or touch your screen, you may see an icon that looks like a microphone. If there's a red line through your microphone, that means you are muted. If you touch it, it will unmute. Or if you're unmuted and you touch it, it will mute. So that's a good way to ask questions today. If you have one and you just feel like you need to jump in, go right ahead. We don't mind.
Okay, am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay, this is Lucy Rhodes.
It's nice
I'll
to meet
probably
you,
have a lot of
Lucy.
questions, so I'm glad that I am unmuted. Thank you.
You're welcome. Our classes have usually a staff member or they have a monitor, and sometimes a little pop-up will happen that says, would you like for the host to unmute you? Because sometimes there are classes that are really large and it's easier for the monitor to unmute and mute people so that questions are asked when appropriate. So if you see that, it's okay. Go ahead and give us permission and we'll help. There are some people who go through all of our online classes and never quite figure this out. It is totally fine if you raise your hand, because we're also looking for people to raise their hands. And we're kind of scanning during class. There was a time earlier where I could see that Alice was talking and I could tell that she was probably talking to me, but she wasn't unmuted. So I made her aware. Alice, would you please unmute so that we can hear you? So if we see that kind of going on in class, don't worry, we'll be there to help you and the instructor. So just a couple of a few other basics. Lifequest likes to communicate by email. During the class term, we'll send out an email usually once a week, and it will talk about new opportunities such as who the guest speaker is that week. If the chef has a lot of meals that haven't been ordered, maybe we'll say, hey, pot roast is this week. Don't you want some pot roast? And give you another opportunity to order lunch. Special events, if we have a Colette tour that happens, we'll let you know about that ahead of time so you can register for that. We're not sure what the special events are, and that's why we send out emails frequently, or once a week, so that they don't get lost in the shuffle of everything else. Another important thing to know is for online classes, we use 3 passwords each term. There are public classes, such as this one, and our guest speaker on Wednesday is a public class. That means it's free and open to the public. If you have friends that you want to invite to hear the guest speaker when they speak about supplements and fake supplements, you can pass along the information and the password will be Lifequest, all lowercase. If you have already registered for class this term, you received a registration confirmation that gave you the password to log into our website. The password for that is the same for general classes, but the password is embedded in your link, so you probably won't have to use it except to log into our website. If you are taking a class that is limited, such as great books or paper crafting, those classes have a different password. So 3 passwords: public, for members, and then for the limited classes. In the old days, when we got to go to class, you had to get ready in the morning and get dressed and find a parking place and find your classroom. You had to really think about getting ready. It's a lot easier to let class time slip by when you know that you just have to go to your computer and get on. And so we are accustomed to people coming in at 10 minutes after the class starts. We'll be there to let you in. If you miss a class, hopefully it's been recorded and you can watch it later. But if you are the kind of person like me who has to be on a schedule, set an alarm on your phone. I have alarms on my phone when I have doctor's appointments. If I find a class is really important and I want to interact with the instructor, set an alarm. Maybe you don't get the same out of it from a recording that you do from the interaction you can get one-on-one. So that's something we recommend. If you do order meals, or if there's a pickup for a supply for a class, usually our pickup time is on Thursdays between 2:30 and 3:30. This week, since it's the week before classes start, there are some classes that have materials that we will have pickup earlier from 10 to 11.
Gina,
Yes, ma'am.
going back just a little bit, how do you create the alarm on your cell phone?
That is something one of our digital one-on-ones can help you with, or a grandkid, or maybe your neighbor, but everybody has a different phone, and so it's not something I'm prepared to help you with now. I just, even in your alarm clock by your bed, if you don't have to get up at a certain time anymore, you can set it for 12:30 and then try to figure out what it's for. and just go, what did I set this alarm
Yep.
for? And then maybe look at a calendar, and maybe on the calendar it'll say Chuck Chappell's class, and you'll go, oh yeah, I really wanted to make that class.
Well, we are
Maybe
taking
put a note next to the phone.
Yeah, make a note next to your phone, wherever your alarm is.
You
So,
can also
if you
use the
set it up
timer
on
on
your
your oven or
calendar.
your microwave.
that's right. You could, in the morning, you could use the timer on your microwave or oven if you know that you have a class in 30 minutes or 2 hours. There's all sorts of ways to do that. And we'd be happy to work with you one-on-one to
Well,
figure out what best works for you.
the problem with that is if you've signed up for almost every class on the book, you'd be setting your alarms, your microwaves, your ovens all day long.
All day long.
And, maybe some people find that necessary and some people just sit there all day long and click from one class to the next. It just depends on what works best for you. Okay, so for this term, classes begin next Monday. We are aware that next Monday is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but when we set this schedule, we wanted every class to get the experience for 8 weeks. And so we don't want those Monday classes to miss out, because there's actually a President's holiday also on a Monday, which would take that class down to only 6 times that they could meet. So we're going to go ahead and have classes on the holidays this term. If you do need to contact us, our office hours are 9 to 4:30, Monday through Thursday. We all are part-time. Our office is not open on Fridays, although we do have a class this term on Friday, and we'll be hosting that class remotely from home, as will all of our instructors. They'll be at home, so why not us too? Okay, so I touched a little bit on this. We have a public persona and a private persona. Lifequest, of course, you can find us on the internet, and it's the Lifequest of Arkansas website. You can also find a public Facebook page for us, where we just every once in a while we'll share a happy holiday message or let you know about upcoming trips. Those things are all free. If you surf the net and look for a Walmart, you're going to find Walmart. If you look for Lifequest, you're going to find Lifequest. And on our web page, there's lots of things to investigate and lots of pages to see. On our website, we also have a private section. And if you have registered for this term, you have access to the private section. On our website, we'll review it in a minute and I'll show you how to get there. It allows you also to have private access to the recordings, which are on a private YouTube page. And we also have old videos that you can look at if you join our library, and those are also private. You can't, this class you can search for on YouTube and probably find. But if you were to look for Dr. Silva's critical thinking class on YouTube, you wouldn't find it because we've got it hidden. And we're thankful that YouTube gives us an opportunity to do that, so that people who have paid their registration fees get special privileges. If you have registered, this is what a sample registration confirmation email looks like. This is obviously from fall of last year. It's pretty much the same as this term, but it says, "Welcome to Winter 2022. At the top, it tells you what your login name and your password is. Everyone uses the same login name. It's Lifequest. It's not your personal email account or your personal name. It's the word Lifequest. The password changes each term, and it is sent in your email. It also gives you a link to our Facebook group that's private. And so if you click on that link, it'll open up Facebook for you and you can click join group. It also has some other information about when materials will be picked up. Just a few other things. If you registered in December, your registration confirmation was probably sent in December. And so if you search your email for Lifequest, hopefully it'll pop in. If you look for it this week and you haven't found it, give us a call or email us and let us know. You can always email us at info@lifequestofarkansas.org, and we'll respond to questions that way. Okay, after you log in, what do you see? I'll go live in just a minute with our website and show you, but this is just a picture to show you that it tells you, welcome to our class portal. It says class access, materials, and recordings. And these are what are private for people who have registered. And now is when I'm going to do this. So let me share my screen. Okay. All right. I'm going to actually start with Google because that will probably be where most of you start. You could also search on Yahoo or Bing or anything like that. When you type in Lifequest of Arkansas, you'll get a lot of results. And I always just pick the top one, which is the default website address. On our homepage, there's a video that's general, gives some information about how we were founded in 1981. We were founded with 14 congregations. However, we are non-denominational. We're all over the United States now. We have people in California and Pennsylvania. We'll have instructors this time from Germany popping in. There's lots of information here. If you look in the red bar, there are some quick links in the red bar. So if you want to learn more about curbside meals, if you want to see our calendar, or if you want to register, there's also a quick contact us button there that goes to info. Also under our logo, about, where you can learn more about our board, the curriculum committee who selects the classes, our instructor biographies, if there's an instructor you'd like to learn more about, our corporate sponsors, who supports us from congregations. You can find out if your church does or your synagogue. Our inclement weather policy. Just a heads up, our inclement weather policy for online classes is a little different for in-person. Because usually, as long as we have electricity and we have internet, we're going to do classes. If for some reason it ice and the church closes, we can still do this from home. And so we'll still have class and we'll see you there. What we do under there, you can find class descriptions, who the guest speakers are going to be, information about our library, just all kinds of things. We're going to look at login. I have already typed in my username, which is Lifequest. I've typed in the password for this term, and I'm going to click login. The first time you do this, a lot of browsers will ask you if you want to save the password. I'd recommend you save the password, even though it's going to be different the next term. When you change it, it'll ask you, this is different. Do you want to save it again? And just say yes. All right, for class access, I'm going to click that. And this is how we recommend you get to class no matter what device you're on. It's a list of classes according to the days of the week. There's a description of the time, and underneath you'll have either one or two buttons. One will say Zoom and one will say Facebook. If I were to click the Zoom link, add a few minutes until 10 o'clock on Monday, my Zoom application would open and take me straight into class. Some people don't like Zoom. They don't trust it. They would rather use Facebook. And so we will also show the same class at the same time on Facebook. If I just continue to scroll, there are some classes that only happen on Zoom. And sometimes that's because, for instance, the movie musicals class deals with copywritten material that Facebook doesn't understand we have the right to show. And so Facebook immediately goes, no, you can't show that, even though we're an educational 501c3 nonprofit and we do have permission to show those things. So since we can't show it there, we just show it on Zoom. There is one class that is only on Facebook, and that is Wednesday, 9 o'clock, our most popular class, all together now, Behind the Headlines with
Behind the
John
Headlines.
Brummett. His class usually
That's
gets
because he's special.
he is special, so his class is only on Facebook. He gets an audience larger than 100 people, which is how many people we can have in a Zoom class. If you don't like Facebook and you don't trust Facebook, you can watch the recording later that day. The recordings are usually uploaded by 5 p.m. that day or by 4:30 because that's when the office closes. So we do try to do same day upload, but we don't promise. So if I'm busy, if I get too swamped, I'll try the next day. So we do recommend if you want to watch John Brummett live to go ahead and join the Facebook group before next week. That way, when class happens, you'll be able to see it. Let me check and see what else I was going to show you. Okay, we'll go. This is
You
all of
said-
the classes. Go ahead.
You said join the Facebook group. What
Mhm.
is the process?
I'll show you that at the end of this. That's one of the things I reviewed with you.
Thank you.
Some instructors, Chuck Chappell, Paul Yoder, a few of the other book discussion groups, especially some of the art classes, they will supply us with material lists for what they would like for you to do before class or even during the 8 weeks. If an artist has a picture they want to share and they want the class to paint this picture later, we'll upload it to the materials page. This is listed alphabetically by class. If you just go through there, it will either be a link or you can just read it. Pastels, these are all links because they're blue and underlined. For Introduction to William Blake, it's just text. And so if you'll check on this throughout the term, you may see that your instructor has posted something. And then also, I'm going to go back. One of the buttons is recordings. While I'm showing you this button, I also want to point out over here on the side, you see the exact same thing. So they take you to the exact same place. It doesn't matter if I click the recordings button there or if I click it here. The recordings will be available for 2 weeks after the term ends. So during the 8 weeks, each class will add recordings weekly, or not each class, but the classes that are recorded will add recordings each week. And then at the end of the term, you'll have access for 2 more weeks. At the end of this term, they will be moved to our library. And so later in the year, if you want to watch something that took place in the winter, you'll want to join our library. Let's see, I did want to point out our guest speakers. This is a link on our website under what we do, guest speaker hour. Like I said, we'll usually notify you in an email who's upcoming next week in case any of this changes. But for now, this is what we anticipate. So we look forward to these guest speakers. Someone asked about Brummett's recording. It is available through our recordings after the login, as well as, so when you click this recordings and you click recordings here, it's going to open up into our private YouTube, and this is going to fill up with over 100 recordings before the end of the term. So it doesn't matter if the class only takes place on Zoom or if it only takes place on Facebook. If it says it's recorded, you can access it by clicking the recording button. That was a good question. Thank you. Okay, I am going to stop sharing this for a second, and I'm going to go back to my other. Are there any questions that I can answer while I'm switching gears here?
I don't know if you can answer this, but I noticed on the chair yoga for materials, it asked you to send something in.
Yes.
And I didn't understand what that was.
Okay. Our chair yoga instructor is working towards her hours to be certified. And so she is certified now, sorry. But she asked that you sign a waiver that says if you overstretch, it's not her fault. So, you know, just as if you were to fall down in the church isn't liable for it. Lifequest has insurance for it. So if you can print it at home and then mail it to us, that would be fine. If you don't have a printer and you want to participate, let us know and we'll mail you a copy and you can mail it back to us.
Okay, so I can just call and tell one of you all because I don't have a printer.
Okay.
Correct. we'll go ahead and mail you a copy. Let me write that.
Okay.
And this is Clint. Where
Yes.
where do you get to join the library? Just real quick, where is that library link?
The library that's during the 8-week term or the annual library?
The annual library.
The annual library, when you registered, there is a place where it says annual library access on our website.
Okay.
It is $50 for this year, and it is good from January 1st through December 31st, and it includes all of the past recordings, and each term we'll build upon it and add more recordings as the year goes.
Okay, but that's different from the current term library.
Correct. We have
And-
2 libraries concurrently.
And
So
so
we
where
have-
is the current? And so where is the current term library?
The current term library is accessed by logging in with your registration credentials, and it says class recordings on that page. Let me see if I can go back to that. So when you see your class portal where it says recordings there, that button will take you to the recordings for this term only.
Okay, that's the library. Okay.
Yes. If you join the library, that's the annual library, when you log in, instead of using the Lifequest and the password for this term, you'll get a different login name and password.
Okay.
You just put them in the same places.
That's great. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I have a technical question, this Kay.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we've got these little pictures of you and us,
Mhm.
but they're vertically on the side of the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
How can I get those to be horizontal at the top so that it doesn't mess up what I'm seeing?
In your Zoom window, if you move your mouse or touch your screen, near the top, you should see something that says view. This is, I can't remember if this is something I reviewed a
Okay.
little bit. You can change your view there.
Okay,
I want you to know, if you change your view, it does not affect how anybody else sees it. And so it only changes your view. It doesn't mess anything else up for anybody else. So feel free to play with those.
okay,
Okay,
thank you.
you're welcome. This is, yes, ma'am.
I don't see anything on our screen that says view, top or bottom.
Are you on a desktop?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see, it would be in the black screen,
Yes.
and it would probably be above the pictures of little people, but also it may look like dots.
It just showed up. It's view in the upper right-hand corner.
Right, you have to move your mouse and wake up the Zoom things.
Yeah.
The Zoom menu. We'll get some more in depth into Zoom in just a minute. I just wanted to show everyone what the Facebook group looks like. This is from spring. For winter, it looks pretty much the same, except it's blue. And when you go there the first time, it will say join group. If it doesn't say join group, then you've already joined. All right, now we're going to talk about extra bits. On our website, there is a page called online class tutorials. And we have put there tutorials for all sorts of things: how to update Zoom, how to bookmark in your browser, how to bookmark on your cell phone. If there isn't a question that we addressed today, you might look at our online class tutorials website page and see if your question is answered there. Even includes how to create a Facebook account if you've wanted to do that and haven't done that up to this point. We spoke about the library a little bit. This is, again, an annual library. It renews every year. The earlier you join, the better a deal it is, because, you know, incrementally, by the time you get to September, you're going to have all of the classes from summer, spring, and winter in there as well. So if you are interested in past classes and like to take them on your own time, feel free to join that. Okay, so we got a little bit into Zoom. Let's get a little bit more into it. Everybody's screen looks different depending on what device you're on. I have learned as much as I can. My brain is overloaded, but I'll do my best if you have a screen that doesn't look like mine to walk you through it. So computer, cell phone, and tablet. Zoom's main goal is to help you focus on who is speaking or the presentation. So if there's a presentation being given like there is today, the PowerPoint or whatever it is going to be the main screen. If it's an instructor who's just lecturing, you may see just the instructor, or you may see everybody in the entire class. If you move your mouse or touch your screen, you'll see options that pop up that allow you to change your view, to mute yourself, to turn on and off your video. You may see other things that say share screen, and we don't usually allow participants to do that. We just let the instructors share their screen. You may see something that says record, and not every class is set up for you to record because we're recording them. And we don't know what you're going to do with the recording. So we try to turn off that permission for you. If you are joining on a device that says, would you like to join audio? And it says call using internet audio. That's what you're going to do. It sounds a little strange to say, yes, I'm going to join the meeting by internet audio, but that's what you select so that the audio goes through your computer to us. This is what a cell phone looks like on an iPhone. The first screen, you'll see at the bottom, mute, video, share, participants, and you'll see 3 little dots, and it says more. Those little 3 dots, even if it doesn't say the word more, always indicate that there's another menu. And if you touch those 3 dots, the next screen happens. And then there's more menu options. And I've selected chat. And then when I selected chat, this last screen looks like just a big black messenger box. And so everyone's screen is going to look a little different. But I just want you not to be afraid to touch things. Okay. On an iPad, the menu is usually at the top. And here where it says end, yours will say leave. If you might see a headset instead of a microphone. You may see the word participants. That's going to bring up a list of everybody who's in the class with you. If you click on the 3 dots, and that's where you see chat, you can click on chat and a little pop-up box might appear. And that's a way that you can send messages to either individuals or to everybody. I've circled right here a little paper airplane. On some iPads, you have to touch the airplane in order for your message to send. On a computer, you might just hit enter on your keyboard and your message will send. So here's a little bit of Zoom etiquette. For Zoom, it's different than Facebook in the fact that Zoom has a camera usually that is turned on and we can see you. Even if you can't see us because we're sharing a presentation, someone in the Lifequest staff is usually watching to see if everybody's participating in class and is doing okay and there's not any confusion. We can tell when people are frustrated or if they can't hear because they might be leaning forward a little more, or maybe they're raising their hand because they don't know what buttons to push, and we'll try to help you out. If you are going to get up and walk around with your iPad or laptop, you might want to turn your camera off so I don't get dizzy, because you might all of a sudden be swinging your computer up and I see your ceiling and the floor and everything else. If you're watching a movie class and you want to sit there and have popcorn or ice cream at 9 in the morning, feel free to do that. I would just ask that you turn off your camera so I don't get jealous that you're eating ice cream so early. So if we eat,
Gina,
yes, ma'am, go ahead, Lucy.
I'm sorry. If I'm leaving, like just now I had to leave and answer the door, is it all right for me to just leave my iPad where it is and me go to the door?
Sure.
Will that bother you for me to not be here?
Most of the time, no. Most of the time it won't.
Okay.
Like I said, I would pick up my laptop and move it around, but y'all might get dizzy, and I don't want to do that to you. But I have seen people do that. And if I'm really paying attention, but most of the time it's fine. We would rather see your face. If you don't know how to turn it off and on, just leave it on.
I
just
don't.
I
Okay.
just want you to
Show
be
us.
aware of this, because we have had people who have fallen asleep during class and then later contacted me saying, can you please edit that out of the recording? Unfortunately, we cannot edit that out of the recording. We cannot edit it out if you decide to scratch your hair or if you decide to stand up and do exercises. If your video is turned on, it is what it is. And so I just want you to be aware.
Gina, where is the button to turn off it on the video?
If you move your mouse or touch your screen, next to the mute button is a thing
Oh,
that says
okay.
stop video. Looks like a
Gotcha.
little video camera.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
So
Now,
if you want to,
Tina,
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
that you can mute people. Can
Mhm.
you take away their screen too?
I can, and I have.
Okay.
And it's nothing personal. It is nothing personal if I mute you. It is nothing personal if I take off your video. We have found that, especially in movie classes, there's a lot of information being sent over the internet, and it helps the movie run smoother for you if it's not also trying to send your video back at the same time. And so if you think of it as a two-way highway, but it's just in one line, and you're trying to send your video, but you're also trying to receive the video, it gets a little clogged up. And so during a movie class, I might turn off cameras so that you get a better experience. And then afterwards, I may say, okay, the movie's over. Everybody please turn on your video camera. I can also hover over someone's name and request that they turn it on. So if it's been turned off and you weren't aware of it, you may all of a sudden get a little pop-up box that says the host has asked you to turn on your video. And you can say, okay, or no, it's up to you. So like I said, it's nothing personal. It's just helping with the class experience to be smoother, and helping the instructor to keep on their task of teaching as well. Another option you have in Zoom and on Facebook is typing and in the chat, or on Facebook, typing into the comment section. When an instructor is giving a presentation, it's a one-track mind. They are one-track focused on what they are presenting, and they don't always see the chat box, which is why we also have monitors. So if the instructor, Alan Eastham, talks about Afghanistan and you have a question about Uruguay, maybe it's not an appropriate time to interrupt him right then and ask. So you can put your question in the chat, and when he's open to questions, we can read your question about Uruguay, or you can remember that you wanted to ask it, and you'll see it there and you'll say, oh, I did want to ask you about this. So it's a nice way to maybe take notes for yourself, or you can also send private messages to people in class if you haven't seen them in a long time and you want their phone number. If you see the word to, and then you see the word everyone in the chat, there's a little drop down arrow next to the word everyone. And there it will have a list of everybody in the class, and you can select their name and send them a personal message. If I wanted to send you all a personal message, I might say, I really miss seeing you in class. What's your phone number? And let's go have lunch. And you could say, I'm sorry, I'm not doing that because have you heard of Omicron? I'm not going anywhere. And I'd say, okay, but that's not distracting to the class. It's just a personal discussion between the two of you, and that's totally fine. All of our classes are set up for that. And on Facebook, since you can't verbally join the class, you can type your questions in the chat and we'll relay them to the instructors also. If you have to leave the class because you need to go to a doctor's appointment, or just something happens and it's not a good time for you to be in class, you can leave class at any time. It's that red button that when you wake up your mouse or touch your Zoom screen says leave. Please don't do it now, because you'll leave our class, and I want you to stay here for as long as you can. It doesn't disrupt anybody. It is a lot less intrusive. than if you like actually walked in front of people in the classroom. Most of the people aren't going to notice if you have to leave the class. So don't worry about it. A lot of classes, sometimes someone will go away for 10 minutes and then they'll come back. We'll let you join the class again later. We won't keep you from coming back in the class. So if you need to, that's fine. Do you have any questions about Zoom?
I do.
Okay, Lucy, go ahead.
I told you I'd have a lot of questions.
It's all right.
I got here by opening my Facebook account,
Mm-hmm,
and I have the Lifequest group in there,
mm-hmm.
and the Zoom, the little thing was down there that said join Zoom, blah, 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 and I did that.
Yep.
Will the other Zoom classes be that easy to get into?
You'll
No.
need to log into our website. Our website will have all of those classes listed. We don't share the links every day for classes. We don't post the links in Facebook every day. We leave it up to you. For instance, I wouldn't drive to your house on Wednesday morning and pick you up for John Brummett. I leave it up to you if you want to go, and then you go. So we leave it up to you to sign in to our website and pick the class that you want to go to and join at that appropriate time.
So what's the website going to be?
Lifequestofarkansas.org. It's in the email that you should have received.
Okay, I did.
Okay. So you can save that email and use the email to get to Lifequest, or you can bookmark the website if you know how to do that.
I don't.
That's okay. You can save the email and keep up with it. That'll work too. Are there any other Zoom questions?
Yes, Gina,
Yes, ma'am.
it's Alice. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll ask it anyway.
There's nothing wrong with questions. Go ahead.
You already have to have a Facebook account in order to join by Facebook.
Yes. And if you don't have a Facebook account, we have a video on how to log in or how to create one. Facebook really isn't as intrusive as you might imagine. I know a lot of people who also have Facebook accounts with pseudonyms, such as doctors, police officers, teachers. They have fake names. That's why we ask for your Facebook name, because we want to match your Facebook name with who's registering. And then other than that, they ask for a phone number or email, and they ask for your date of birth. I suggest you're honest about your date of birth, but everything else you can make up if you want to. Because I can't remember a fake date of birth, but if you can, more
So-
power to you.
Why do you want to know date of birth?
It's not me, it's Facebook. Facebook wants to do that so that they know you're over the age of 13,
Oh,
because,
what if we're not?
well, then I don't know what, I have never joined Facebook as an under 13-year-old. I don't know if it's any different. Oh, maybe, yeah. Donna says you have to have special permission from your parents to join then, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, Lorraine, go ahead.
Okay, last time I didn't even try to do Zoom, your Zoom. I have a Facebook account, I guess, and I have some other things on it, but I just clicked the Facebook and then the little magnifying glass or whatever it is, and I got something else, and I had Lifequest, like fall 2021.
Mhm.
Can I just did it on Facebook? I mean,
That's
that was really easy and fast.
Facebook is very user friendly.
Can I
but you
still do that?
You do have to join a new group each term.
Well,
So
what do you put in to
winter 2022. That's the name of our
Oh, you put in
Lifequest Winter 2022.
2022. Okay, so I could do
You-
that.
You can search for us that way and then join, and then you can go to class that way.
Work.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
So that's how you're
that-
going to get John.
That is how you're
Yeah,
gonna
I
get
mean,
John.
that'd be a good way to get John at 9.
Roland,
I have a
Roland,
question.
okay,
Matt.
Trudy, go ahead.
You said Lifequest Winter of 22, you put it in where? In the Facebook?
In the search
Or
on
in your-
Facebook, or you can, let's jump into Facebook here and I'll show you that. But before I show you Facebook, Roland, did you have a question? Because I noticed you holding your microphone earlier. Roland, yes or no? I don't hear you, Roland. I'm not sure why.
Lifequest.
Jean, did you have a question?
I did. I usually go back to the email that you sent
Mhm,
to get into all these classes.
mhm.
What I have found is I have starred that on my email account.
Mhm.
And when you go into a starred list, it's a lot shorter than all of your daily emails to scroll through.
Right, and that's a feature of Gmail. Not every email application has the ability to star conversations.
Okay, mine
Some-
is through Yahoo.
Or
but
Yahoo,
yeah.
okay. And I know that other applications, some sort of way to mark messages as important. And if that's the easiest way for you to get to class, it's whatever works for you. We
Yep.
just want you there. However you get there, we'll take you. Okay, now I'm going to review Facebook. So there are different ways to join the group. In the email that I did send, there's a direct link to the Facebook group. And so you can click that link. It takes you straight to the Facebook Winter 2021 or 2022. And then you click join. And during business hours, we will approve your membership if you are registered. If you share that Facebook group with friends, if they're not registered, they're not going to get in the group. And so you can also search for Lifequest Winter 2022. Anybody in the world who's on Facebook can search for us, but I'm not going to give permission for them to join unless they're a registered member.
Mhm.
And we ask that you do this before the first week of class because it's hard for us to juggle people joining at the same time we're juggling John Brummett in class, at the same time we're maybe answering the phone. And so, like I said, there's only going to be 3 of us on staff next week. So the more you can do ahead of time that would help us, the better. Okay, how to find live classes. This is something that's a little tricky unless you're on Facebook a lot. So when you go to your Facebook group, at the very top or underneath where it says, do you want to make a comment? There's a little section right here that says new activity. There's a little drop down arrow next to that. And you can click on that and you can select recent post versus new activity. For Facebook, recent post puts things in chronological order. However, if Glenn had been on Facebook last night at 2 a.m. and had made a comment on a post that was 3 weeks old, that might be the first thing at the top because that's the newest activity. I'm going to play this little video and some of that's going to be illustrated. Here I'm picking the new arrow and I'm deciding I want recent post instead of newest activity. Then it puts everything in chronological order. If we have a video that is live at that time, you will see in the upper corner of the video the word live in red in a little red square. If it's an old video that happened earlier in the week, the little word live's not going to be there. So for instance, this video underneath didn't have the word live, but the beginning screen looks the same. Something we also are able to do in Facebook is label things with a topic. So if you only want to watch a certain class, you can look for where it says topics and pick that class. And then any of the videos we have for that class are the ones that are going to show up on that page. And I usually try to mark classes as they're happening, or by the end of the day, the class will be marked with whatever class name it was. So if that's a little tricky for people to figure out how to find live classes, most of the time with Zoom, we open the virtual classroom at 10 minutes until the hour. And usually at that time, we meet with the instructor and make sure that we've got everything ready for them. They've got their PowerPoint up. They've got their materials that we can hear them and see them. And then we open the classroom for everybody else. So it may be 9 minutes until, or that instructor may be struggling and it may be 3 minutes until. And as soon as we can, we will go live on Facebook, usually about 2 minutes until the hour. Because otherwise in Facebook, you're just sitting there and you're just sitting there and you're waiting on something to happen. Because on Facebook, it's just you and your computer. Whereas in Zoom, you can see other people. So Zoom classes, 10 minutes until the hour, Facebook, 2 minutes until the hour. And so if for some reason an instructor or is having a hard time with their presentation, if you know a class is supposed to happen at that hour, we just ask that you have patience, because sometimes it may be 3 minutes or 4 minutes after the hour when we go live. It doesn't happen very often anymore. It happened a little frequently when we were first getting started. And as we're training people, Donna's waving at herself because sometimes she has problems talking. She gets distracted by the time. It's okay. We'll be there as soon as we can.
Gina,
Yes, ma'am.
since John is the one who's only doing Facebook,
Mhm.
would it be possible for you to walk us through how to get to him?
Well,
Well,
I don't have a live class going on right now.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to describe how to find a live video.
Okay.
If you want to watch this again later, you can watch that recording that we just reviewed,
Okay.
and it will show you, you'll look for the word live in red in the corner. And
Okay.
then the video should be playing. And if it's not
Okay.
playing,
I wrote that all down. So
yeah, if it's not,
hopefully I can find him.
Gina,
yes,
Gina, let me ask you, not just John Brummett, but all sorts of classes can be seen on Facebook. I really prefer to look at it on Facebook.
that's totally fine. Most of our classes have both options.
Okay.
There are few exceptions, such as the movie class, because the movie
Oh, sure,
copyright.
sure.
A few of the smaller classes that are book discussion groups, because they're so interactive and
Sure,
they're discussion
sure.
groups. But otherwise, we encourage our instructors to participate in both ways, because we know.
Let's say Chuck Chappell or Alan Easton, both of those I could find on Facebook, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
At the top of our new group, let's see, I'll go ahead and share my screen again. And I'll just show you at the top. This is what the winter looks like. I'm getting notifications that people are trying to join already. So winter is blue. If I slide down, there's some announcements. These announcements are pinned to the top. And so this will let you know that on Monday, these are what will be on Facebook. On Tuesday, these are what are going to be on Facebook. So you could sit on Facebook from 9 until 2 o'clock. Some hours, we have 2 classes or going on Facebook. So there might be 2 live videos. Wednesday, Thursday, etc. And so we'll keep that at the top. And so you can refer to that if you're not sure exactly what's going to be on Facebook that day. Another way is by looking at our website, and when you look at class descriptions, this will usually tell you if it's going to be on Facebook and Zoom, and if it's going to be recorded, yes or no. So we haven't had a chance to go back and edit this since we went online only, but we will do that this week so that next week, you know, Movie Musicals is online and it's only on Zoom. Modern Supreme Court is only online and it's in Zoom and in Facebook. And so we'll change that so that it reflects the most accurate information for you all. Are there any other questions about Facebook?
Yeah.
Okay.
I noticed it looked like on one of the Facebook classes, it was so fast, I'm not sure I saw the right thing.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to wrap up because we've got 5 minutes before I thought that we would be done for you.
Asking, do you print the names of everyone in the class on Facebook? A list of students.
That's because I have administrator privileges. That's not something that a normal Facebook user would see.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. It's a good question. What I see is a little different than what you see in Zoom and on Facebook.
Okay.
And on YouTube. Are there any other questions about Facebook? Some of y'all are so quiet.
Show us the class descriptions link again, Gina.
I'll just tell you where it is. If you go to our website and you go to what we do, it's a link underneath that. In fact, our website has so much stuff. I couldn't possibly review everything today, but I would encourage you to go through there and look at everything because there is a lot more information there than I suspect you realize.
Okay, thanks, Gina.
You're welcome, Clint. Okay. At this time, I am open to questions about anything. I am not good at cooking, so don't ask me for recipes. I am also weak on car mechanics, so don't ask me any car mechanic questions. But if you have a Lifequest question or a YouTube or Zoom or Facebook, I'm here for you.
When do you plan to send out the information with password, et cetera, for getting into the classes?
You should have received an email confirmation after you registered within 2 or 3 days. If you have lost that, please contact the office and we will resend it to you.
I need to do that. Thank you.
Okay,
You're
thanks
welcome,
for telling
Denny.
us that. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Were you going to show us how to bookmark?
That is one of the videos available on our website in the
Okay.
online class tutorials.
Okay.
And it goes through all sorts of different browsers because people like different browsers. Some people use
Okay.
Chrome, Edge, Safari. Yes, Gil.
Can I just call and give you my credit card number to register?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I'll be calling you.
All right.
The email that I got from the painting class,
Yes.
it looks like it's generic information. It's not person specific. Did I get the right one?
We can resend it to you. See that your last name is Reed, but I'm not sure what your first name is.
Right.
I'm Greg Reed.
Greg Reed.
The
Okay.
email I got, I mean, the username is Lifequest and the password is just a generic.
Right. And that's the same for everybody who's registered. It's not, everybody doesn't have an individual username and password. Otherwise, if Sandra lost her password, we would have to go through resetting it. And so it's just easier if we have only 3 passwords for everybody to use for the whole term. So the password for the open classes, the password if you're a registered member, and then the one that's for the limited classes. And the limited classes, you'll get emailed that password this week.
Gina,
Yes, Alice.
it's Alice again. I had no luck getting information on doing a bookmark.
I will
Yeah.
send you the link to that
And
video.
please, to me also, to Clint, Gina, if you will, send me.
All right. Now I'm
with
going to start
Alex.
writing notes because you're asking questions that I'll send you, little
Thanks
special.
a bunch. Yeah, but we need to figure this out.
And this is Kay. If you'd send it to me also, please.
Okay,
Me
last name.
too.
Mottsinger,
I missed your last name. Hold on. Oh,
Mottsinger.
Mottsinger. Okay.
And Lorraine Hannah. I've been trying to do that. Get my children.
We
It
need
was so
2
good
hours
that
fast.
hadn't done it yet. Hadn't
Let's see.
figured it. I can't even, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. There's a website. I'm not sure if it's listed on our website has a page of resources. And if it's not there, I'm going to put it there. There is a website where you can learn how to do anything. And it tells you how to set up a Facebook, how to,
Sure.
YouTube. What is TikTok? What is, how do I do banking online? It is really user friendly. And I have shared it in classes that I've taught before, but the name of it escapes me right now. So I'll make sure the name of that website's on our Lifequest page so that you all can have that as a resource.
Thanks a bunch, Gina.
You're welcome, Clint. Alice, you're muted, but thank you, I hope. If you're telling me off, mute yourself. If you've got something good to say, go ahead.
That's not Alice.
Alice, go ahead.
No, I just, I wanted to know the name
Why
of
am I
that
not hearing?
to be on Zoom as well as Facebook.
You wanted to know the name to be on Zoom as well as Facebook?
Oh, I don't have a Facebook.
And that's okay. I'm confused by your question, Alice. I'll ask you after class.
I wanted to know what the name of that almost biblical thing is that you can look up anything on.
Oh, okay. I will send that to you as well. The website that teaches everything. That's not the name of it, but I'll look it up. and find
Me
it.
too, me too, Jeannie. I'm going to jump in with Alice on that one.
Okay.
And me too.
We might learn ethics and food
That's-
preparation.
This is Kay. Definitely
ma'am.
put me on that also.
Are you writing all this down, Donna?
No, what I'm going to say is, Gina, you get it on there by the end of the day, and by the end of the day, workday today, it will be on Gina will put it on the Lifequest of Arkansas page, so you can go there and she'll have it there and marked as, I don't know what do you want to call it, Gina? The super
super website.
super website.
So,
The super website. We want to see the super,
Now,
we want to see the
my
super
main-
website.
my main concern for today is that I want you all to understand how to get to class and how to contact us if you have questions.
Great.
Have I answered those two things?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
And
Okay.
And how do you know what a Facebook name is? I don't have a
my
I mean,
like my
I have
Facebook.
Facebook.
When you sign up with Facebook, you have to choose a username. Like, it's one of the things that you do in the process of creating your Facebook. So,
Forgot.
and
If
We
you
don't
log
know.
in, you'll see it next to your little picture probably.
yeah,
I gotta
usually
leave.
it's on there if you're, well, yeah, if you go to where your Facebook is, it should have your Facebook username in that.
Never seen that.
Okay.
And those of you that want to do Grummet, the most important thing I can tell you is join the Facebook this week so that we can get you all
This
set up.
week.
After
You
this,
call on Wednesday morning and the class is already happening, you're going to miss the class before we get you on there.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
okay, I'm going
Thank
to go
you,
ahead and
Donna.
stop.